Hello, this is a video for Todd Revito's SensorCraft. So before we get started, we do assume that you have Python downloaded and installed on your computer and the latest version of SensorCraft cloned to your desktop. So let's get started. So one thing about SensorCraft is that the GUI, or Graphical User Interface, this is the screen where you actually play the game, does not show the current block selected. Sometimes you forget which block is selected and place the wrong one. A simple way to fix this problem is to extend the draw label method, which we talked about in the previous chapter, that shows the numbers in the upper left corner. So to get started, we're going to open a terminal, and like we do in most tutorials, we're going to change our directory to desktop, SensorCraft, code. And then once we get here, we're going to copy O2 3D coordinate system underscore your initials .py, and we're going to copy that to O3 show current block underscore your initials .py. So now that we have that, we can close our terminal and open up Python idle, and then we can also open up the file that we just made right here. Okay, so now if we go down to the init function, right here, this shows a lot of stuff that's being initialized when the world starts. So we want to find a variable called self.block, and it is right here. So this tells you which block you have selected at any given time. So now that we know this, if we use if/elif to construct like we did in the program exercise on building automatically, we can examine this variable, then build the proper text. So if we jump down to our draw label method, here we go, it's right down here. So we're going to add some stuff to this. So we need to determine which block is selected, right? So we want to first comment that we're going to determines the block selected, and then we're going to come back up. We're going to type, so if the block that you have selected, or self.block, is equal to brick, equal to brick, we want to make this variable block selected string, we want to make that equal to brick, right? And we're going to do the same thing for the next two. So we also want to say elif self.block is equal to grass. We want block selected, oops, that's not supposed to be capital, string to equal grass. And then, you guessed it, we're going to do the same thing with sand. So elif self.block is equal to sand. We want block selected string to equal sand. Okay, but we're not totally done yet. We want to come down here, and right before the second tick mark or apostrophe, we want to say block is equal to %s. And then we can come down here, oh, not F. We can go right here, and we can say, oops, we forgot a comma. Block selected string. And there's links to where you can find this code down below, so if you aren't following along, you can find it there. So after that is made, we're going to save and run our game. And you can see now in this upper left corner, it'll show you block brick, right? And so if I place, I'm placing bricks, right? But then if I have grass, I'm placing grass. And if I have sand, I'm placing sand, just like that. So another thing that you can do that is easy to change is the target cursor. So the SensorCraft code refers to the cursor as a reticle, which is the same thing, but less characters to type. So first, to change the color, we're going to look at the draw reticle function. So draw reticle, there we go, right here. Okay, so you can change the colors of it very easily. So we use RGB, so how much red, green, and blue is in the color. And so if we wanted a totally green rectangle, we would say 255, 0, and 0. And there's another thing that we can change, which is the size of it. So if we come up here, there will be a variable soon that says n equals 10. If we want to make it bigger, we can say n equals 20. And then when we run this, you can see, oh, we made red instead of green. You can see that it's now 2 times bigger and red. So if we wanted to make it 3 times bigger, we could make that n equals 30. And then we can come down here and make it green. Just like that. And then now when you run it, you can see it kind of blends in with the blue. But you can see that it's a lot bigger and green. So try and experiment with whatever sizes you want, whichever one color or something is best for you. But that's all we've got for this tutorial. Make sure to join us in the next one. Thank you very much for using SensorCraft. Happy crafting!